Hi everyone, welcome to our Friday TNT, and tomorrow we will be doing our live program again between 9 and 10 a.m. Now, that's an opportunity for you to drop in. You're all welcome, and anybody can discuss things that are on their mind, make comments about stories during the week, disagree with me about various items. It's an hour we'll spend together to discuss all the news. Now, we've had Brett and Amy here staying from the US recently at Coral Cottage, one of our 3 beach houses here at Turtle Beach. And they brought some 12-inch albums with them, so thank you very much. We've got a turntable in one of the beach houses and people very kindly remembering and bringing some old unused albums. Huey Lewis and the News, Cat Stevens. Well, this is one of my favourite albums from Teaser and the Firecat. This one very suitable for a beach location. The Beach Boys and Good Vibrations. I look forward to giving that a spin. And Retrospective from Buffalo Springfield. So thank you very much, Brett and Amy. Now to today's news stories, and this is a follow-up from yesterday. Suspect in murder of Russian man in Phuket flees Thailand, as reported in Khalsat English, and we reported the story yesterday. And it says police in Phuket investigating the murder of a 41-year-old Russian national, Mr. Artur, have found that the Kyrgyzstani suspect has fled Thailand for Turkey. And the Russian man who was murdered was discovered on Wednesday morning at a rented house on a hill in Chalong. He'd been stabbed to death, and the victim's wife, Miss Anna, had reported him missing on Tuesday evening after he failed to return home. She and a friend, Mr. Alexandra, contacted the car rental company that the victim had used, and they were able to track the car's GPS to the marijuana farm where the body was found. And police believe that the house where the murder took place was rented by a Thai woman who had a foreign boyfriend. A Tajikistani national was also staying at the house. But he'd fled the house after the victim disappeared and took a flight from Phuket airport to Istanbul, Turkey on March the 12th. And then on March the 14th, police officers found a red Honda PCX motorcycle that the suspect had abandoned at the Phuket International Airport on the international side. They examined it for latent fingerprints and bloodstains in order to gather proof for an arrest warrant for Mr. Bakhtovar. So that's the latest in that story, and we go to another big story from yesterday, and we go to nationthailand.com. 13 sailors injured as Thai Navy warship accidentally blasts a frigate. A Royal Thai Navy warship accidentally fired an artillery shell at a frigate docked in Chonburi, wounding 13 sailors yesterday. And firefighters took about 30 minutes to control the blaze. The fire was caused by an explosion triggered by an artillery shell accidentally discharged from the HTMS Chonburi, which was docked nearby, according to naval officers speaking on condition of anonymity. Interesting that the Navy has said very little about this incident officially so far. And sources said the HTMS Chonburi returned from a firing drill on Wednesday with one artillery round still stuck in its guns. The round reportedly discharged as Navy engineers were trying to remove it. And the HTMS Kittirat is a patrol frigate that's been in operation for about 50 years. And a bit more information from the Bangkok Post, their headline saying frigate damaged by ammunition from another naval ship. And the Royal Thai Navy said 13 soldiers were injured, 10 of them in serious condition, and according to media reports, many suffered from smoke inhalation. So a direct hit, completely unintended, 13 injured. And a big thanks to our sponsor, 5 Star Marine. If you're heading down to the south of Thailand, head to Phuket. I mean, even if you don't like Phuket, you can jump on one of the 5 Star Marine boats, head out onto Phang Bay. There are another 30 islands out there, some of them with the most amazing beaches and some locations that the staff of 5 Star Marine know about, and they haven't told anybody else. So take advantage of the opportunity, go to that website, check out some of the locations and make a booking. As we head to our next story, and somebody who's been doing a little bit of travelling, nationthailand.com reporting Thaksin meets supporters, politicians as he leaves plane in Chiang Mai. And I have to say, for a man who's been so sick for so long, he's looking, well, quite well fed. and he arrived by private jet in the northern city for a 3-day visit, accompanied by his nurse, son-in-law, and his youngest daughter Patongtan Shinawat, who leads the ruling Pheu Thai party. And at the Chiang Mai airport on Thursday morning, Thaksin and his entourage were welcomed by his brother-in-law and former Prime Minister Chachoengsao, Thaksin's sister, the Chiang Mai governor, and the permanent secretary of the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment. So in other words, people directly in contact with the current government. But there's more. Check out this next paragraph. The Agriculture and Cooperatives Minister Tamanat Prompao. And if you can't remember, according to the Sydney Morning Herald, he allegedly spent 4 years in an Australian jail on heroin trafficking charges. Apparently, according to the minister, it was a misunderstanding. But not only him, also the Deputy National Police Chief, Police General Surachat Hakpan. For security reasons, of course, but the former Prime Minister attracting some heavy hitters, apart from all the red shirt supporters that turned up to meet him at the Chiang Mai International Airport. Heading to our next story now, to calsodenglish.com, and 2 accidents caused by drowsy drivers leave foreign visitors injured. There's been 2 incidents involving drivers falling asleep at the wheel. Both happened on March the 13th. The first one on Highway 41 towards Bangkok in Bangkok in Chachoengsao. That was a Toyota Fortuner which collided with the rear of a 10-wheeler truck. And 2 Danish tourists, a 46-year-old and a 25-year-old, suffered injuries. And they received medical treatment at the scene. And the 34-year-old driver admitted to falling asleep while driving. And then in another incident in Bangkok in Chachoengsao, police were called to an incident around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. They found a blue Scania bus parked in the middle lane and badly damaged, and the 34-year-old driver was injured, as were 29 Chinese tourists. Nearby, a trailer truck with 22 wheels was also rear-ended on the right side, causing significant damage, and the bus driver confessed to falling asleep while driving the Chinese tourists to Pattaya, resulting in the collision with the trailer truck in the left lane. But at least in this case they admitted to falling asleep at the wheel, better than the usual the brakes failed excuse. Now, for those people who have been following this issue, just an update on what's happening with the same-sex marriage bill in Thailand. Bangkok Post reporting the same-sex marriage bill moving ahead. And Thailand is pushing ahead with its plan to legalise same-sex marriage, with lawmakers set to approve changes that would make the country the first in Southeast Asia to guarantee equal marital rights. And a committee set up by the House of Representatives on Thursday approved the draft amendments to the country's civil and commercial code. The lawmakers are expected to take up the amended bill on March the 27th for the second and third readings. And once the bill clears the elected lower house, it will need a final approval from the Senate and then a royal endorsement before it can be enforced. The process is expected to be completed by the end of this year. What are the changes in the bill? Well, it proposes a key fundamental change to the composition of a marriage from a man and a woman to 2 individuals, and a change in the official legal status from husband and wife to a genderless married couple. So that's the latest in that particular story as we head to the northeast of Thailand. This story, how municipality reacted to outcry over 58 fans on school's exterior. This reported by nationthailand.com. And there's some of the 58 fans sitting just under the roof outside the property. Not exactly sure who that's going to assist. It'll probably keep the doors cool. And netizens demanded an explanation as to why up to 29 fans were fixed on the front parapet ceiling of a school building in Royet Province, and 58 overall. And the Facebook page watchdog.act said in the caption that a contract had been placed for 72 fans, and 29 of them were lined up at the front of the building. Don't worry, it gets a lot more bizarre. And a Nation reporter from Surin Province who went to check the buildings found another row of 29 fans mounted in a similar manner at the back of the building. Suppose they've got to match the front and the back of the building. I mean, the doors at the back of the building deserve to be kept cool as well. And on Thursday, the permanent secretary of the municipality clarified that the contractor had made a mistake by installing the fans in the wrong place. He said the contract required the installation of 72 fans, but the exact locations in the building had not been specified, and the contractor would have had to wait for municipal officers to specify the installation areas. So the fans were installed in a rush outside the building. But, and sadly, the municipality removed the fans outside the building on Thursday after the issue became the talk of the town. Well, I think it's a bit of a lost opportunity. I mean, they could have left them there for another 3 or 4 weeks. Imagine the tourism. Imagine the extra fans. They could have had, I don't know, hundreds, thousands of people pouring up there to get a few Instagram shots of those fans, perhaps poorly placed, but it would have been the talk of not only the town, would have made international headlines. Imagine the tourism opportunities. Opportunity missed. We go to this final story, and this is published in timeout.com, and it's the 30 coolest streets in the world. And from cool little corridors to major thoroughfares, these are the streets worth a stroll right now, according to our global team of local experts. Time Out, a great travel publication, and coming from Melbourne, we were sort of famous for some of the cool eating streets and some of the laneways that have become, well, tourist attractions in their own. Well, let's find out how they rated these streets before we look at the winners. And so what are the world's coolest streets worth a stroll right now? To find the answer, we reached out to our global team of local expert editors and contributors who each made a case for the coolest street in their city. And I wasn't terribly surprised to see at number 1, High Street in Melbourne. Now, 10-20 years ago, this was a very unfashionable area, but of course things change and the areas become gentrified. So well done to the people in High Street in Melbourne. And number 2, Hollywood Road in Hong Kong. Can't say that I've been there. Number 3, East 11th in Austin, Texas, I'm assuming. And number 4, I've been to this one, Guatemala Street in Buenos Aires. Now, one of those tourist locations people don't talk about much, but I highly rate. Buenos Aires is a great place to visit. But of course, the big question, did any Thai streets make it into the list? Well, yes. Number 14, Ban Tad Tong in Bangkok. And I have to say, that is the most unattractive photo that they could have possibly taken of this street. And what was once a street hawking car and motorcycle parts has been transformed over the past few years into Bangkok's most exciting new foodie destination. And both sides of the 1.3 kilometre stretch are now lined with more eating options than you could ever imagine. From long-standing cow tom joints and up-and-coming sweet spots to upscale mala hotspots, all ready to satisfy hungry visitors. Never heard of it, have you? I'll probably go and give it a try next time I'm in Bangkok, but honestly, from the photo it doesn't look very exciting. But interested to know if you've been there or where you think some of the cool little side streets are in Bangkok. And with that, thank you very much for watching today. We will be around tomorrow with our live program from 9 till 10 a.m. And on Sunday we'll have Grumpy Old Men with Steve. But from the TNT team, well, that's basically me and the cats. Thanks for watching. See you next time.